The best part, really? Acolyte stands on its own 2 feet, free from the burden of Skywalker baggage. Like, do you even like Star Wars? I like to start my days with a laugh, so let's go take a look at some 5-star reviews that people are giving The Acolyte. Grab your coffee, let's sit back and enjoy these 5-star reviews. Let's see what people are saying. I honestly want to see why some folks like the show, because the fan base apparently is divided, though I think we're more unified than we've ever been. Christine gives it 5 stars. I loved it. The world building, the storytelling hit all the right spots for me. And I love the idea of a murder mystery being solved within a Star Wars setting. They're calling this a murder mystery. Just being super vague on all the plot points is not how you do a murder mystery. It's just not. We're seeing the Force used in ways we haven't seen in live action before, which is very exciting for those of us who enjoy the mystical aspects of Star Wars. Let's also remember that this is a television show, not a movie, so it is naturally going to feel less big than some of the other content out there. We're not in a big galactic conflict or sowing the seeds of the rebellion, instead focused on where the Jedi Order is as a whole during this era and planting the seeds for what brought the Jedi Council to its downfall in the prequel movies. This feels like a defense against the fact that it doesn't feel very big. TV shows can feel big. TV shows can feel massive. Andor felt that way. It's not just about movies being big. But anyway, let's just see what else. I think the acting is great. This is Lee Jung-jae's first time doing a role in English, even though he's a huge movie star in South Korea. It's a fun ride, in my opinion, and if you aren't an annoying Star Wars bro who hates women and diversity in movies, then give it a go. Can't wait for the next episode. Right? Like, this right here shows exactly what you really think. All the rest of it was whatever right here. If you're not a Star Wars bro who hates women. Really? No. Okay, let's go to the next 5-star review. Catherine. What does Catherine have to say? People are review bombing this show. You know, the old white guys upset that it's too woke, or the immature teenage boys, but let's be honest, they're still gonna watch the show anyways. In my opinion, The Acolyte is absolutely amazing. There are some great actors in the show. Amandla Sandberg, Rue from The Hunger Games. Does that make her a great actor? Lee Jung-jae. I think he's the one with the most note besides Carrie-Anne Moss, Trinity from The Matrix, just to name a few. Can you name any others? I don't think you can name any others. Maybe one. Amandla Sandberg does a great job as the lead. I'd say more, but I'm trying to write a spoiler-free review. The costumes are also breathtaking, clearly well designed. They kind of look cheap. They look cosplay. They look fan fiction-y. They look CW-esque. Another thing I'd like to mention is the cinematography. Oh, really? Star Wars has always excelled at that. Since we see different planets with such diverse climates, I know we only have 2 episodes so far, but the plot is very intriguing and I can't wait to see what happens next. Cinematography. Cinematography is not a wide-angle shot of another just forest planet with a mountain on it. That's not cinematography. That has nothing to do with cinematography. Cinematography is setting up and composing the shots, weaving shots together, moving in and out, giving you a sense that the world you're in is lived in. There isn't anything I can see or pull from that feels like cinematography. I'll give you an example of cinematography, and I'll give you an example of that from Andor, because I think that this one is just in my mind because we were just talking about it recently. But when we think of cinematography, think of the way that the TIE fighters are presented in Andor. They're not just shown. They're not just, you just see a TIE fighter. You hear it. You get the sense from the ground level looking up. The camera is looking up towards the sky with the actors and actresses down low. It feels terrifying, worrisome. They can hear everything. They're hiding, they're moving, and it's giving you this full picture of what a TIE fighter might be. And then you see it flash across the screen. That's crafting a shot, putting something together that evokes emotion. That's cinematography. I would argue we haven't gotten any of that at all in The Acolyte. Let's keep going. Let's see. Since we're just an upset white guy in my mom's basement, right? I just don't understand why we have to resort to name calling. Let's see how many reviews do that. I don't know. Let's keep going. This is kind of fun. I just finished watching the first 2 episodes of The Acolyte on Disney Plus, and I'm absolutely blown away. I will say, the first 2 episodes were far better than the third. As a lifelong Star Wars fan, this show has exceeded all my expectations. How is that possible? Literally how? You need higher expectations. The setting at the end of the High Republic era is fresh and intriguing, proving a rich backdrop for a captivating story. The cast is phenomenal, with standout performances by Amandla Sandberg and Lee Jung-jae. The chemistry between the characters is palpable. Is it? And the intricate plot keeps you on the edge of your seat. You mean they don't tell us anything? It's completely vague everywhere? It keeps you at the edge of my seat, sure. The blend of action, adventure, crime, drama, and mystery thriller works perfectly, creating a unique and engaging experience. How would you use these words to describe The Acolyte? Action, adventure, crime, drama? Like, they're just parroting what has been said on the lead up to this show. But what about The Acolyte is a crime drama? It really has not been set up that way. If you can think, just because we don't know who the Smiley Sith is, does not make it a murder mystery. Just because there might be a twist or two coming, I would not put this under a mystery category. It's just too vague. Visually, oh boy, The Acolyte is stunning. The cinematography and special effects are top notch, immersing you in the Star Wars universe like never before. This is, I don't know how we're watching the same show. The attention to detail in every scene is impeccable, really. Like characters changing from one thing to another, flipping from one to another, like Soul going from May is dead to, oh wait, yeah, I believe you, without any kind of understanding. It feels like there's a deleted scene missing already. There is not very much continuity. You saw in the third episode, now this was from the first 2, but you saw from the third episode how May went from trying to convince her sister to be like, oh, now I'm going to kill you, right? Like just these, it doesn't work. This isn't how people talk. This isn't how people act, or at least not in Star Wars. And the music by Michael Abels is perfectly complements the tone. I will say the music for the most part until this last episode, go check Spotify for that one. Until this last episode, I thought some of the music was really good. I will say that. I will give credit there. Kudos to Leslie Headland and the entire production team for bringing such a fresh and exciting addition to Star Wars. What is fresh and exciting? What about these 2 episodes that you watched, or these first 3 episodes now, what is actually fresh and exciting? Because nothing is defined, everything's vague. Is it fresh and exciting because the Jedi are the ones that are being made out to be in the wrong and be evil? Is that the fresh and exciting? Is it fresh and exciting because now we have other people being born of the Force? Or the dark side? Or magic? Or we're not quite sure? Is that fresh and exciting? Is it fresh and exciting that Jedi are killing themselves out of guilt? Is that fresh and exciting? I'm very confused. I just don't know what about this show is actually fresh and exciting. It just isn't. It's just not. And if this is fresh and exciting, gosh, that's boring. Because none of this is exciting. I can't wait for the rest of the episodes to be released. We kind of agree. Like watching a train wreck happen. If you're a Star Wars fan or just love the good mystery thriller, we keep saying those words, They don't mean the same thing as what I think they mean. The Acolyte is a must-watch, 5 stars all the way. This is like bad satire. What's next? Let's see. What's next? Eric, what do you have to say, Eric? Acolyte, a fresh spark in the Star Wars galaxy. Wait, was this copy and pasted from ChatGPT? Is that what the double hashtags? Did you forget to take that part out? Let's see. Does this read like an AI generated review? A fresh spark in the Star Wars galaxy. For fans craving something new in the Star Wars universe, The Acolyte is a welcome departure. Unlike recent shows that relied heavily on the Skywalker lore, that's what Star Wars is. There would be no Star Wars without the Skywalker lore. What? Oh gosh, Acolyte ventures into uncharted territory, setting itself during the High Republic era. This bold move breathes fresh air into the franchise, offering a chance to explore the Jedi Order at its height and delve into a new chapter of the Force's story. We're not going into the Jedi Order at its height because we don't even get to see some of the main characters in the Jedi Order. Talking about you, Yoda. Where you at? The series boasts stunning visuals. Really? That rival Andor's grounded realism. No, not even close. You can't. Oh, golly. Okay, go watch just the first episode from Andor and tell me it looks the same. And then call up your eye doctor and go get a new prescription, because there is nothing the same about these two. Lush landscapes and meticulously crafted sets transport viewers to a bygone era of the Republic, far removed from the familiar deserts of Tatooine or the polished corridors of capital ships. This new aesthetic feasts the eyes, immersing a world brimming with its own unique charm. But Acolyte isn't just about the visuals. The intriguing surrounding a mysterious assassin targeting Jedi is captivating, is it? How? So there's no mystery. There's zero mystery. And if you're saying there's mystery because there's things they just haven't told us, that's not mystery. There's nothing intriguing. There's nothing mysterious. She's a twin. She's targeting Jedi because of a fire that we see, that all her mothers die. I'm really not quite sure, even after the first 2 episodes, what was mysterious. It didn't really feel mysterious. It felt vague. I know that's a word I keep using, but that's really what it was. That's the vagueness of episodes 1 and 2 are not mystery. It's lazy. That's what it is. Just because you don't tell us facts doesn't really make it into a mystery. And the cliffhanger of who is the smiley Jedi Sith person at the end, it's not enough. That's not enough. It's not captivating. The show takes its time establishing the characters and the political climate, creating a sense of unease and anticipation. The slower burn approach allows the narrative to unfold organically, building a foundation for a truly compelling mystery. No. If you're going to do a slow burn show, you need runtimes that are more than 33 minutes. Look at all of the good shows. What are their runtimes? They're longer. They're not these short, episodic, little tiny things. I think the short, episodic stuff worked for Mandalorian because of the nature of the show, but it did not work for Ahsoka. It is not working for Acolyte. It really hurt Mando Season 3, I think. I think this approach needs to shift. And if Disney is going to be putting hundreds of millions of dollars into these shows, they need to be not these short, little, weekly, episodic things that are trying to cram so much into so little, which leave no room for breathing. Imagine if a show like Andor had been shorter. People already felt like it moved too slow, but the whole point, the reason it moved that way is because it was building the tension. It was building something. In these shorter 30-minute episodes, they're trying to build all of this tension into one episode each time, a new piece of tension, a new piece of tension. Instead, you can do little micro jumps in the storyline when you have a longer episode. And that, I think, is one of the major flaws of just the strategy in general of these shows. It's what frustrated me about Ahsoka the first season. I can't talk. You know what I mean? It's what frustrated me about Ahsoka. There were episodes, like, how do you have filler episodes when you only have 30 minutes of runtime and you only have a few episodes, 8 episodes? Like, this is wild to me. They need to stop taking these movie type scripts and breaking them into smaller chunks. It does not work. Write for the medium that you are actually creating. And if you want to create a 30-minute episodic show, then write it that way. Don't write it the other way. They say, oh, you got to watch all 8 episodes. Well, the best writing and the best shows know how to do that well, but Disney isn't about hiring the best writers. Disney isn't about hiring the best. As long as you check the boxes that they want you to check, you're in. You don't even have to know the lore. You don't even have to know the Skywalker lore, because it's not about the Skywalkers anymore. Let's see how does this review end? Oh, it keeps going. Ha ha ha. The best part, really? Acolyte stands on its own 2 feet, free from the burden of Skywalker baggage. Like, do you even like Star Wars? Do you even like Star Wars if it's free from the Skywalker baggage? Like, I really don't know who likes this show, because it feels like the people who like this show don't actually like Star Wars. And the people that like Star Wars hate this show. Is that starting to sink in? This liberation allows the writers to explore new themes, delve deeper into the complexities of the Force. It's a chance to meet fresh faces untainted by the shadow of the Skywalker legacy. Wow, you hate Star Wars. To the complexities of the Force? No, the Force doesn't actually work as a thread. You're saying don't weaponize it and then you use it as a weapon. You say the Force is a thread that you pull on, but that is absolutely false based on how everyone else has understood it. Even if that's your own little cultish view of the Force, the idea of a thread being pulled in one direction towards yourself, this is just the understanding of the dark side, that you're going to bend and pull everything to your own will, that you're going to reject the will of the Force, that nothing matters except what you can do. So maybe if I'm being gracious about it, this is just a Sith's vision or a dark side version of the Force. The Force as a thread is a dark side perspective because it's selfish and around yourself. Maybe. But to say that it's delving into the complexities of the Force, no, it's not, because we don't actually know anything. There's no delving in anywhere. Whether you're a longtime Star Wars fan or a newcomer to the galaxy, no, right? Like, you're not even a longtime Star Wars fan. You hate the Skywalker saga. Or a newcomer to the galaxy far, far away, the Acolyte offers a breath of fresh air. Its unique setting, captivating mystery, and focus on new generation makes a must-watch for anyone craving a thrilling and visually stunning Star Wars experience. That is none of those things. It's none of those things. Objectively, it's not. Like, I just don't understand how people are seeing this. It's just crazy to me. It's almost as if, hear me out, you hate Star Wars and are just happy that Star Wars is this now. I don't know. That's kind of what it feels like. That's what it feels like. Here we go. 211 people found this one helpful. Let's see how helpful it is. Take it from someone who has engaged in more Star Wars content than the average Joe complaining about how this show being woke. See, I've never said this show is quote unquote woke. I'll be very specific about my critiques, but of which, when you put diversity over story, when you hire people based on their skin color or their gender identity instead of their ability, there's a problem there. It just is. I want the best people in the best positions to do the best work, period. End of story. And if that was this group, great, but it's not. This show is off to a fantastic start. Anyone who is on the fence should leap over it and watch it. The review bombing should not at all be taken seriously and is charged by a bigoted agenda. No, it's not. You've already said, and others, that we're the bigots. You're calling us names. No one is calling you names. Maybe, just maybe. Yeah, there's some, right? But there's always some on either end of the spectrum. There's people at the polar opposite extremes that are always a loud vocal minority. But the majority of people who are upset with this show are not bigots, ists and phobes and everything else. And if you don't believe me, if you think that everyone who's criticizing this show just hates women, you can check out my video. I'll link it down below that I did before about how the women of Andor, everyone loved them. No one was saying that these Star Wars fans hate women then, because it was a good show and good writing, maybe. The review bombing should not only be taken seriously agenda, and this has been unfortunately seen with prior projects ranging from Obi-Wan series to Ahsoka. Obi-Wan, what was the review bombing about being woke in Obi-Wan? What? Can someone tell me what he's talking about? Ben, my guy. What about Obi-Wan where people review bombing because it was woke? The show looked cheap. The show had broken mechanics and broken storytelling. The show was more about Reva than it was about Vader and Obi-Wan. There's major writing problems. Just the one scene of Vader first confronting Obi-Wan with the fire, and he puts it out, and then the fire ignites again. Oh, I can't put it out again. Like, just come on. There's serious issues with the Obi-Wan show. And to say that it was review bombed, maybe people really don't like when you screw up something as important as Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader. And Ahsoka was horribly written. You have to see that. There were some that were mad that it was Ahsoka, that it was mad that it was Rosario Dawson, but that was very few. Most people loved it. I thought she played Ahsoka well. We're getting off topic. Back to the reviews. The representation is diverse, and rightfully so, as people are innately different. Sure, Star Wars should always be diverse. Always. I'm fine with that. But that should not come before the story. You write the story, and then you cast the people into the story. You don't find the checkboxes of everyone you need and then craft a story to involve everyone different. It suffers. The actual storytelling suffers. Do you think an author sits down to write a masterpiece novel and thinks, okay, I need to make sure I have the quota of so many different genders and races and everyone included? No. Do you think they go the other way and go, I'm going to exclude all of them because I hate them? See, that's what you think. You think just because someone's not in the story, they're being left out intentionally. Most times that's not the case. Just isn't. It just isn't. Back to the 5-star reviews. It is a part of the High Republic era of Star Wars canon. Oh, spoilers, don't worry. Oh, guys, spoilers, sorry. However, it takes place in the halfway point between the publishing initiative's first phase and the prequel trilogy. It is truly a mix of THR and the prequels. I don't see that. It's not really a mix of the High Republic and the prequels. And is a visual and choreographic masterpiece. Really. Masterpiece. Like, it feels like people don't think for themselves and they just have to, because of the fact that they have to like the show, because of the DEI and everything else, that they have to say things like this. Instead of just saying the choreography is pretty good. Like, it is pretty good. Masterpiece? No. Can we just be honest? Be honest. It's too hard for you. It is not without its Easter eggs, with the inclusion of THR Jedi Vector and the mention of Barash Val, which originated in 2017 Darth Vader comments. Easter eggs do not make a show, right? It's not enough. And given its origin story in the High Republic, the plot is engaging and leaves the viewer with many questions. Many questions, because it's so vague. And the acting is superb. from Lee Jong-jae, and that's it. With a particular shine from Squid Game's Lee Jong-jae, I absolutely cannot wait to see how this develops. Another payoff by Lucasfilm. Really? What did you think about, like, do you like everything? Here we go. Ryan Johnson. The first 2 episodes were better than I had expected. So I think some of these were from before the 3rd episode. I think a lot of the hate for the show comes from the nerds, out of touch haters who don't know how to spend their time other than finding something wrong with every new piece of media that is released. Looking at you, Rings of Power. Ugh. Seriously, don't decide you're going to hate something before you even see it. Why does your 5-star review start with putting down other people? Mine doesn't. None of my reviews have put down people. You can review the thing without talking about the people who were reviewing the thing, though we are talking about you, the person who's reviewing the thing now. So maybe that's moot point. Yeah, moot point. Here's the thing. I don't hate anybody. I really get frustrated at Disney. Why? Because Disney has taken something that I really enjoy and done what with it? With the exception of very few bright spots, things like Rogue One, things like Andor. What have they done? They've killed off every main character. They've made them pathetic. They've made them pointless. And that is still also J.J. Abrams and Ryan Johnson's fault. They're both to blame here. The season 1 and 2 of Mandalorian stand out as something fresh and new. And then season 3, all the good things have to come to an end, I guess. I'm just getting tired of the same old. Like, blame the fans. Maybe the show stinks. I would argue that this show is far more intriguing than Ahsoka. How? Which fans gobbled up because of a few fan favorite characters it featured? I didn't gobble it up. A lot of people didn't gobble it up. I was intrigued and pulled in because of the fan favorite characters, and then the way they were handled in that show just stunk. The best parts of that show were Balin. Just Balin. Balin was the best part of that show. They jacked up everything else. Ezra, lame. Sabine, lame. Thrawn, extra lame. All of it. Ahsoka had less optimal writing, pacing, dialogue, but it didn't seem to matter because, oh my God, Thrawn. We pushed back on it because Thrawn was presented poorly. And you're right, it had terrible writing, pacing, and dialogue. Just like this show. The only thing, you're right, that got it a little bit of grace was that it brought a character people actually liked to the screen. There is something to that. You can't just ignore the previous past history of Star Wars and expect people just gobble up what the new stuff is. Some people don't trust Disney. Well, let me rephrase that. Most people don't trust Disney to even create new characters. I can count on one hand the number of characters that Disney has made that have been interesting, that have been epic, that have been awesome. Maybe people like Star Wars, not Disney's perspective on Star Wars. Maybe that's what it is. The show's pacing was a little off. Oh, he's going into Ahsoka now. Or where are we going back? We're going back to Acolyte? I can't follow this. The show's pacing was a little off, but overall I was captivated by the story and thought the writers did a nice job of hinting at characters' past while still leaving enough to the imagination. The dialogue seems slightly unnatural. Slightly? But for the most part, there was nothing wrong with it. Visually, the Acolyte is stunning. How do you say that? How is this stunning? The character design and world building is exceptional. What about the world building has been exceptional? Please tell me. Just throwing text on a screen and walking into a bar is not world building. The music was some of the best I've heard from a Disney Plus show. You can't go that far. I mean, just the themes alone of Mandalorian. The Mandalorian music is in a different stratosphere than everything else. I'd even put Andor's music, different stratosphere. Even Book of Boba Fett which I think the show was junk. The music was better than this. A minor continuity errors that most normal, mentally sane people wouldn't notice. That's not fair. No, you can't say that. You can't call people crazy because they see the continuity errors. Come on now. Most importantly, we get to see a completely new time period in the Star Wars galaxy. Overall, an 8.5 out of 10 for me, but I'll give a 10 out of 10 to balance out the review bombing. Next one. Let's keep going. This is fun. Been an avid Star Wars fan since grade school. Loved the movies, but it was the books by amazing authors like Zahn that really captivated me. I agree. We're on the same page so far. I had low hopes for this series. So did I. Given the sequels and all the online hate going around, but was pleasantly surprised. Was nice to see the Jedi Order and the political issues they struggled alongside the Trade Federation we saw in episode 1. Really, what did we see? That one line about we better cover this up so that we don't lose political power? Like that, we really haven't gotten much. Not like episode 1. Loving all the world building in this series and glad I didn't overlook this series because of a minority group of people are complaining too much diversity. That might have been some of the people's complaints. We are no longer complaining about too much diversity. Yes, that was maybe based on the trailers, but now that the show is out, we have far more to complain about. It doesn't have to be about the diversity. There are so many legitimate problems with this show. Diversity is like 8th on the list, maybe even further. And again, I don't have a problem with the diversity. I just think when you write for diversity's sake, it's just not going to be good. Is this really the best that could be offered? I mean, that's what it was presented as. I would encourage everyone to check out the series and make their own decisions. Sure. And I would say the same. Check out the series, make your own decisions. I mean, we could just keep going and maybe we'll come back to these another time, but you get the idea. I just don't think we're watching the same show. I think the people that are giving it a 5 out of 5 star rating were going to do it no matter what the show was, no matter what was presented. So there you have it. Some 5-star reviews from people who apparently love The Acolyte. I think the truth is you came to this show with an idea that you had to love it, and so you defend it. Even some people said they're putting a 5 out of 5 because of the review bombing. Well, let's talk about that. Is this show really being review bombed? If you want to see my video about that, click right here. Guys, thanks for watching all the way through. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more content just like this.